What are the biggest concerns the Texas Rangers are going to be facing when they break camp here in about a month? Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching another Texas Rangers Insider YouTube video. I'm here with another contributor that helps out with the channel.
Super excited to be here, y'all. Let's dive right into it.
So real quick, we just want to touch on some current events that are happening with spring training already. So Young has a calf strain. He's hoping to be back by opening day. I think he's out for about 3 weeks. So we should be back for opening day, but, I mean, it could linger. You never know.
And then obviously the news of Corey Seager having surgery to repair a sports hernia that he had actually occurred during the playoff run. The Rangers have been somewhat optimistic that he could potentially be ready for opening day, but that may be a little hopeful. It's more looking like it may be a few weeks after. So the Rangers are definitely going to have some backup plans in the case that he's not ready for opening day. So definitely a concern and something Bochy and company are definitely thinking about right now.
So now let's dive right into the concerns. And the main one for me right now, I'm not going to lie, how are we going to fill in that DH role? Losing Mitch Garver, it's a concern to me and a big one.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. I thought it would be addressed more specifically in the offseason. You had a few big-name candidates out there in free agency. We just saw the deal that Jorge Soler signed with the Giants. I don't think for the money in the injury history that really made sense for the Rangers, but a guy like JD Martinez is still out there. I thought the Rangers might give a look at that, and maybe they did, but they're choosing to go with more of the in-house role. And a lot of people with Inside Camp are saying that Justin Foscue has the lead in that role right now. And, you know, Foscue's a guy that's shown some promise, really. Definitely had some great stats last year in the minors. 862 OPS, 18 homers. My only concern, obviously with anybody coming out of camp that has never been on the big league club is, is he going to be able to maintain those numbers in the bigs in his first shot? It's to be seen, but I think there's some promise there.
I agree. He's 24 years old, so you got to give him a good look. My only thing with him, like everyone that's coming up, he's not like a feared hitter yet. Someone like JD Martinez and Soler, which both, we obviously don't have the money to probably go and get one of them. We still haven't even signed Monty yet. But, Foscue, is he gonna, scare pitchers enough to pitch around him as a DH?
Yeah, I think there's potential there. I did like the bit that he gave out the other day saying he would love to sign a lifetime contract with the Rangers. That you got to love hearing that. And I hope he does for all purposes, because that means he'll have a great career with us. It's something to monitor. I'm sure you'll see a few plug-in guys here too. It'd be interesting to see if maybe Wyatt Langford broke camp and you've got a few more outfielders. You definitely would want to put him in the outfield, but taking away a spot. I'm sure Seager will get more DH time this year, as well as Adolis, to give those guys some rest. But yeah, I think a lot to like about Foscue, and hoping he pans out if they choose to go his way out of camp. Another intriguing name that could potentially fill this DH void, Sam Huff. What are our thoughts on Sam Huff? We've seen him in the bigs a little bit last year. What are our thoughts on Sam Huff?
So personally, I love Sam Huff. I love his power. He had 43 ABs last year, 3 homers, but as we all know, 17 Ks.
40% strikeout rate.
Which can't happen. I know he's a power hitter, but we got to see a little more production out of him. But we know he's going to get a chance at spring training. So if he can earn that role, I'd absolutely love it. He hits nukes.
He does. Yep, he's not going to give you the consistency that a guy like Garver was able to give last year. But no, he's definitely an option. I still see Foscue with the upper hand here in terms of just overall hitting capability. But yeah, like you said, the power here, there's so much to love with that swing. We saw him even in spring training last year hit a couple homers that were strong. So be an interesting choice. I would still lean more Foscue's way, but this is definitely, he's a young guy that's definitely shown some promise. And I know we signed Kisner in the offseason, but may even get some backup catching role at some point this year to give Heim some rest. So interesting option here.
And now moving on from DH, another position group that I'm concerned with, not in a bad way, this is actually a good concern, It's just, what do we do with all the guys out there is the outfield.
Yep. No, you hit it on a little bit in your last video, but no, it's definitely a question because there's more and more smoke coming that Langford has a really good chance to be on the big league roster come opening day against the Cubs. And man, I think he's ready. I'm in that camp, and I love the way that Bochy and company handled Carter last year. I mean, it was the perfect call up at the perfect time, and he just was ready. Doesn't matter the age. He's a big league ball player, and you just can't, with those guys that develop so quick and are talents like that, you can't wait. You just got to bring them up because they're going to add value. But so what do you do then? What do you do?
I have no idea. I mean, Langford's a good athlete. He's not a great outfielder. So I think, he could be an option at DH. But to me, especially with young guys, it's like if you let them DH, maybe they don't stay locked in the whole time. They're sitting for a while. But, you have Carter for sure is going to start. I mean, let's be honest. And Adolis isn't going anywhere. You have to assume Leote for now is going to be starting as well.
He's got to be trade bait, don't you think, at some point?
Yeah, but I mean, what do you do with him?
It's a real question that they're going to have to answer and answer quick. But what Langford was able to do last year in the minors, and I've seen even clippings of some of his at-bats. I'm sure everybody saw the snippet of his AB versus Spores the other day. I mean, and let's talk about the frame on this guy. I mean, what a physical specimen. I mean, this guy seems to be exactly who we drafted and more. And like I said, I mean, I think just long term, he's going to help this lineup in the power category in so many ways. Like I said, I mean, I think obviously it's pretty nice. He'd probably be a left fielder within this outfield. So that leaves some options. You've also got, obviously, we brought back Travis Jankowski. Love that signing. Such a great club guy and a great outfielder. But you got 5 guys, and then you've also added into the mix a guy like Zeke Duran. That's kind of a utility player. Could he be potentially in the mix for a trade, kind of in that Leote category? A lot of interesting questions.
Yeah, and Josh Smith. I mean, I know he's an infielder like Duran is, but he's been playing outfield as well. So we have a lot of depth in the outfield. And depth is good. Like, we don't have to trade Leote. We don't have to trade any of these guys. It's just, how do we get everybody involved?
I think you'll see the same starting outfield opening day, and probably within the first couple, mainly in the first couple games of the first few series. But I think you'll definitely see Langford be mixed in every other day. And like you said, I mean, we just talked about Foskey, but he could be in that DH role until they really just give him the full reins in left field. I think he's breaking camp with the club. So a lot to be excited about if you're Rangers. So much good young talent here. And like we said, it's a good problem to have.
And now a question mark that a lot of fans, me included, you included as well, probably a little fired up about. Just because our pride and joy, Jordan Montgomery, has not been re-signed. But it's that starting rotation. Primarily the first half, because we know we're going to get DeGrom, Scherzer, and Malley for the second half. But are we going to be competitive enough, starting pitching-wise, to get us?
Yeah, I've got kind of a twofold concern. I mean, obviously, it's like you said in the first half, is that enough? I mean, you've got, Houston's always going to be a threat. They made some moves in the offseason and still have their core of guys. And then Seattle, I mean, with the way they came out at the end of the last season, I think that first season Seattle, nobody expected. And once they started playing good baseball at the end, I mean, they're a scary, scary club with a lot of young talent as well. Obviously, you're bringing back a guy like Nate Eovaldi. But I've got health concerns even with the guys that we have in the first half is, can Eovaldi stay healthy?
Well, Gray, too.
Gray, even. I mean, you've got some questions there. And then, obviously, another glaring question. I mean, Cody Bradford is going to be, at this point, looking to be the 5th starter. Great second half of last year and into the postseason, gave us some really clutch innings. But is he a guy over 10, 15 starts can give you that same stuff when more guys see him? I hope so. I'm not sure. I always worry with a young guy. And then moving to the second half is, yes, we're going to get Jake back. Yes, we're going to get Max, Malley. But more specifically with Max and Jacob, those guys kind of older in their career, are they going to be the same? I think with DeGrom, we can probably, have a good inference that he won't be. I think he'll be good, but how quick is he going to be back to himself? Obviously, I think we're going to get Max back first. I believe is what they expect. Then Mally, then Jacob. But yeah, first half, it obviously stinks that we're not able to bring Montgomery back. I think they've all but said they're not going to bring him back, and I think the TV deal is certainly the biggest roadblock in that, which stinks because I wish we could make him a Ranger for life, but it's likely not going to happen. So that leaves the door open for a few options, and I firmly believe a young pitcher is going to have to break camp with the team, whether that's in the form of an Owen White, a Zach Kent. I've even seen a Cole Winn. I know he had a tough season last year, but somebody, in my opinion, is going to have to break camp with this team just to provide a little bit of backup in case of an injury. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. We need a young arm. We have Bradford, of course, but White we saw last year, of course. My question to you is, what if Leiter absolutely is lights out? Has he done enough? Even if he's lights out, has he done enough?
If he's lights out in camp, you absolutely give him a shot, because I think the stuff is more of a plus than an Owen White or a Cole Winn. I mean, the dude has got the talent. Obviously, I know the walks were a little bit of concern and command issues, but no, I mean, if he's able to put it together and throw consistent strikes, I mean, listen, with his plus fastball and the slider, he's got number 2 overall stuff where we drafted him. I mean, so if he tears it up, you bring him up. I think probably the safest option would be Owen White, just because we saw him last year, has some experience, is probably the best strike thrower out of the young guys that we've talked about. So that's kind of what I would expect. But yeah, definitely some interesting options. I know a lot of people are high on Zach Kent as well.
I do wish Brock Porter was a little bit older.
Man,
wouldn't it be nice to have him right now?
I'm telling you, his stuff is something to be super excited about. And I mean, talk about what a steal by the Rangers. I mean, not necessarily a steal in terms of what we paid him, but man, I mean, this dude, I mean, that changeup is absolutely filth.
Oh yeah.
And
we all know Kumar Rocker. He's still rehabbing that Tommy John surgery, so we'll get him back at some point this year.
Yep, a very much unknown with him, but I'm hoping he's able to come back with a full recovery, because I still like Kumar. I know there's been injury concerns with him, but man, when he's on his game, I mean, him and Leiter at Vanderbilt, that's a tough combo.
Well, Kumar has got all the upside. He's got the build. He's got everything. So when he's healthy, I mean, people were saying once we drafted him that, like, we could see him in the bigs the year we drafted him.
Yeah.
Like, that's how high they are on this kid.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's got the stuff.
Well, that's going to wrap up this video. Y'all leave us a comment down below on what concern that we may not touched on that y'all are still kind of wondering about. I mean, the bullpen's still maybe an issue, but let us know down below.
Absolutely. Y'all make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more Texas Rangers insider content. And man, super excited to get some spring training games rolling, get some baseball back going, and count down the days till we take on the Cubs at Globe Life.
Defend that title, baby.